Hi, welcome to the very first episode of Universal Tips and Tricks. I am Laura Ashball with Magical Moments Vacations, and I am so excited to talk to you guys about Universal Studios. There's so many things to talk about and share. It's hard to pick where to start, so I thought I'd start the very first one with kind of the very first place, just talking about what is Universal Studios, what does it look like, what's an overview, just to kind of give you an idea of what this, kind of vacation in Orlando looks like. So to start off with, Universal Studios Resort, and I'm specifically talking about Universal Studios Resort in Orlando. There is one in California in the Hollywood area. They both exist. They are similar, but they are different. Universal Orlando is a little bit bigger and has a little bit more to offer. So we're going to start there. So in Universal Studios Orlando, you get 3 parks. Yes, 3. They are building a 4th Epic Universe that will hopefully be open in 2024, 2025, somewhere in there. We're still not getting a lot of details about that, but more will definitely be coming as we get closer to that 4th gate. There are 8 hotels to stay at and over 138 restaurants and so much more. It is a destination in and of itself. Many people will combine a trip to Universal with a trip to other Orlando area resorts and places to visit, and that is awesome. They both have a lot to offer and offer something very unique and different. But there's plenty to do here at Universal Studios Resort, and we're going to talk about what that looks like. So we've got, I said, 3 theme parks. So people tend to only think of 2, and I'm going to challenge you about that 3rd one there, or Volcano Bay. So we've got 3 theme parks. They are different. They each serve a different role, and you really do need to visit all 3. So you've got Universal Studios, which is going to have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley, very important. It is different. That is where you're going to have the fire-breathing dragon. You're going to have Gringotts. You're going to have Weasley's Wizarding Wizzies. You'll have a lot of shopping, a lot of fun inside of Diagon Alley. It's one of my favorite places personally, but it is going to be distinctly different than what you find in Islands of Adventure. There's also a Simpsons section, the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, and a lot of the kind of main central type of the Mummy, Jimmy Fallon, a variety of other rides are going to be found inside Universal Studios. Islands of Adventure is the 2nd park, and it has the original Wizarding World of Harry Potter. It has Hogsmeade. So this is where you're going to find the Hogwarts Castle. You're going to find Hagrid's, the Jurassic Park area with the new Velocicoaster ride, the Dr. Seuss area. You'll find a little bit more adventure in Islands of Adventure than you do Studios, but they both serve a certain role. And there is the Hogwarts Express that connects between the 2 of them. You need a special ticket in order to be able to ride the Hogwarts Express. And then that 3rd option there is Volcano Bay. Now, I'll be totally honest, I'm not a water park person. For many years, I have kind of written this water park. That's not my thing. It's there if you like it. It's not if it's okay. I'm telling you guys, I was wrong. Volcano Bay is absolutely a 3rd park in and of to itself. It is well worth a visit. It is well worth a day of your time. There is so much to do here, even if you're not huge into water slides, but there are insane water slides, drops, raft rides, but there's also this beautiful beach, this gorgeous food and beautiful setting. It's relaxing, it's fun, there's thrills and everything in between. Volcano Bay is absolutely worth a day of your time. Visiting a day at each park is perfect. You could use a little bit more depending how into Harry Potter you are, how into rides you are, or what time of year you choose to go visit, as there may be other events that are happening at the same time. But there are those 3 parks that you can do inside of Universal Studios Orlando. So let's get a little picture of what that looks like. This is their kind of big map. It isn't quite as big as what you think it looks like. Some of these places are totally walkable. I have walked there from Sapphire Falls over to the dockside area and back. I've walked from Sapphire Falls to Volcano Bay. Is it 5 minutes? No. Is it 2 hours? No, it's kind of in between, but it's very doable. They also have water taxis, buses, lots of ways to get around the resorts and the parks. So you've got Universal Studios Florida, Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay, and then in between all of those, you have your resorts. Each one of these parks, each one of these resorts, City Walk, all of that, I will be doing individual videos about those. This is just the kind of the overview to give the big picture of what you're looking at. And what I hope you see is that this isn't a park you can go to in a day and check and say, I did everything. A day, you can do it in a day if you're spending all day from morning to night and cramming everything in between. I highly recommend spending, 3-4 days. It's a perfect time. It's a much more relaxing kind of vacation. You can come, you can go, things are a little closer together, but there is a lot to do here and a lot to eat here. So I'll show a little bit. You got Universal Studios. As I mentioned, it's Diagon Alley. It's literally my favorite place. If they had a bench on this street, I would sit on that bench with a butterbeer in my hand and I would just people watch all day long. I love Diagon Alley. I love the sound of the fire breathing dragon that goes off every 15 minutes or so. I love the clickety clack sounds from the windows and the stores. Just the music just makes you feel like you've walked into Harry Potter. And so it's the best spot. So you got Diagon Alley, you got the big globe out there in front, and Simpsons. My son is actually surprisingly into Simpsons. My niece is big into Simpsons. So it is a really fun themed area. You can't go wrong with a burger and a Flamin' Mo. It's a lot of fun to go visit over there in the Simpsons land. And then you've got Islands of Adventure. So I said, this is a little more adventure than what you get, at least in my opinion, than what you get over at Hollywood Studios. Excuse me, Hollywood Studios. Don't talk about that one. From Universal Studios. Islands of Adventure has the big roller coasters. The brand new one that just opened last year is the Velocicoaster. It is intense. You go upside down and there is no over-the-shoulder harness. You get airtime. I don't think I stopped screaming the entire trip, but it was smooth. It was fun. It was fantastic. My personal favorite is Hagrid's over there in the Hogsmeade area of Harry Potter. If you haven't guessed, I'm a Harry Potter fan. It's one of the big reasons why I love Universal. But that Hagrid's ride is, again, it's smooth, it's fast, it is a ton of fun. I could ride it over and over again. And the theming to get there, perfect, on par. It is fabulous. So there's a lot to do over in Jurassic Park and the Islands of Adventure and Seuss Land. There's a lot of different things to visit inside of this area. And then I mentioned Volcano Bay. This was a big surprise for me. I literally expected to walk in and be like, cool, it's a water park, and walk back out. And I regretted not spending more time. I regretted not visiting more often. And I don't really like to ride water slides. I think I probably floated in one of the lazy rivers for probably like 45 minutes to an hour and could have kept on going. There is a fast lazy river that actually requires a life vest because it goes so quickly. It is a really excellent park. I would go, I would stay a day, I'd rent a cabana, I would make a whole day of the time here at Volcano Bay. Now, City Walk. This is something a little different. It's not a theme park. There's no ticket to get here. All of this you could visit at any point in time when you're inside of Orlando. This is kind of the centralized hub, if you think about it. There is shopping and a lot of eateries here. So many, Floridians or native Orlando will come have dinner here and leave. If you are not staying in any of the resorts, you will walk through the city park area after you have parked your car. So if you notice down there at the bottom, there's the parking garage and shuttle bus ride area. So you will walk into City Park and you will walk through it to access both Hollywood Studios, Universal Studios or Florida, as well as Universal Islands of Adventure. You'll access both of those. There are a ton of really great eateries here. And there's also some really fun shopping here as well. A couple of my personal favorites. I love Cowfish Sushi. I like sushi. I like burgers. You wouldn't think they could go together, but they do. Big Fire was also really delicious. You like good steak. I'm from Missouri, in Kansas City. We think we know steak. We are very picky about our meat, and it was delicious. I would go back there over and over again. Again, I'm going to do more so videos about each one of these areas, probably each of these eateries in a lot more detail. This is just an overview to kind of give you an idea of what to look for, what to expect inside Universal Studios. So why should you visit? Why should you go? What interests you that says I should go visit Universal? I think honestly, number one is going to be the rides. If you are big into coasters, if you are big into thrills, you're going to want to go to Universal. They have some of the biggest and the best coasters in the world, particularly when you opened a Velocicoaster last year. It's a destination to go ride a roller coaster. And so if you want something a little bigger, a little more thrills, absolutely go to Universal. The other big reason why I went to, first of all, was Harry Potter. So I love Harry Potter. I've been a Potter fan since probably book 2 was being published. I read all the books. I went to midnight releases to buy the books. I went to midnight releases for the movies. I have a Harry Potter fan, and nothing beats walking, turning the corner and walking through the wall into Diagon Alley and hearing the bricks click, like you are Hagrid walking together with Harry down Diagon Alley for the first time, drinking a butterbeer. Or honestly, everyone laughs at me, but I really like to go to the bathroom inside of Hogsmeade. Hogsmeade has the Moaning Myrtle bathroom. So while you're in there, it's like you've entered the Hogwarts castle, and you can hear Moaning Myrtle talking to you as she kind of flits around through the sound, and it just makes it, you've walked into another world. The food, the theming, the ambiance, all of it. I could spend days just wandering through the Harry Potter section. It's great for families. I've been by myself, I've been as just an adult, and I've taken my 5-year-old. He's 5 in that picture. That's my son Connor and my husband Matt, who he decided he was a Slytherin. It's fine. He can be that way. That's all right. We had a great time. I got to share with him my love of Harry Potter, and he got to really get involved with the Spider-Man rides. He's big into superheroes. We rode Transformers probably 3 or 4 times because he loves robots. And so it really spoke to him and his interests as well as mine, and was a great time for us together. Food, no matter where you go, food is important. I will probably do an entire video on nothing but butterbeer. I love butterbeer. I can drink it. I probably have, I don't know, probably 100 pictures of just me in various places within the Harry Potter Wizarding world. That is me with a different flavors, different sizes, different cold, the hot, the frozen, all the different versions of butterbeer that you can get, because it is delicious. But it's more than just the Harry Potter food. There's plenty of other really tasty, like high quality gourmet food options throughout the parks that you will find. And the events. So my next video that I'm going to do is going to be about the events at Universal. They do some really neat seasonal options that heighten and elevate your trip. So you get everything you normally get as part of the park, but then you get something extra and additional when you go certain times of the year. And they are top notch, particularly if you were into spooks and scaries. It's going to be exactly what you were looking for as part of your experience. Universal is a I hope this overview is giving you just a little bit of a taste of like, hey, Universal places I want to go visit. I want to see that. Tell me more. As always, subscribe. This is my very first video. I'll probably get better as we go. I am Laura Ashbaugh, and I am a travel agent. I love helping people connect with what is the right trip for them. And I find so many people just don't know what they're offering over there at Universal. And when they start to learn about it, they want to know and they want to know more. And I'm here to help you share my tips, my tricks, all my ins and outs. And if you want to work together, feel free to schedule a complimentary consultation. We can talk about how Universal might work for your family and how my system works for you and how we can work together to make your trip fun. So I'm Laura Ashbaugh. I'm with Magical Moments Vacations, and this is Universal Tips and Tricks. Please subscribe, follow, and see what more there is to come. Thanks.